Hello everyone, and now welcome to game 2 in the series between Foggy and Hawk. Foggy spawning as the red Night Elf player on the top left hand side of Terranus stand. Meanwhile, on the bottom right, we have Hawk spawning as the light blue human. Human versus Night Elf once more, as we see a early scout farm being placed down in a very strong, very annoying position, and now gonna go ahead and slow things down. Now we are looking at this 1v1 matchup here, and the Ancient of War is curiously clearing out this Renegade Wizard creep camp. Now normally this creep camp would be rather difficult to clear out as you don't have enough damage, but with the help of this archer here and using lightning shield, you can actually deal a lot of damage across multiple units. You can see that the lightning shield is essentially like immolation, dealing more damage per second than a level 1 immolation would normally do. So the Warden has cleared out that creep camp, picked up a robe of Magi, and now with +6 intelligence, already has 360 intelligence to try and just shadow strike everything to death. Scroll of the Beast has been dropped down. We see a Troll Shadow Priest has been placed down, as well as the Warden now doing her rounds and doing a little bit more scouting here. Ancient of Wonders being placed down, and I am curious as to whether or not the Ancient of Wonders is actually going to uproot. If the Ancient of Wonders uproot, this is perhaps the first time I've seen an Ancient of War and Ancient of Wonders both be used for very similar strategies. However, the Wisp will be needed to pull over, and this is a very strong strategy coming in from Foggy. If Foggy does the necessary damage here, he could easily get to level 3 on this Warden, which would in fact just play an absolute nightmare with level 2 Shadow Strike this early in the game, well before the 4-minute mark. Alright, Rogue is going to get taken down. This Rogue will get taken down as well. It's going to be awfully close to level 2 or level 3 here, as we now are looking at a clearing of the creep camp on the top right hand side of the map. Alright, Warden, wow, 2 experience shy from level 3, and we're going to be looking at perhaps the Archmage now trying to get to level 3 as well. Warden going to do a quick run into here, take down just a level 1 Kobold, and now pull back and try and pick up some very good items before perhaps stopping the expansion over here on the top right hand side. Alright, there's an Ancient of War, there's a Shadow Melded Archer. Archmage may try to rush in here, not realizing that he is actually very low. And oh, in comes the Warden. Warden comes in with level 2 Fan of Knives instead and absolutely destroys a couple of peasants. One peasant down. A second peasant could have been taken down here, and no mining currently available at all. Alright, Shadow Strike does go down here. Arcane Tower now coming in as the Ancient of War does get taken out. This Fan of Knives action is just causing so many problems, and that Robe of Magi did definitely become an issue. Meanwhile, back in the base here, archers are now being forced to pull all the way back. No Ancient of War, as Hawk is looking to just punish his opponent for such a risky strategy. Alright, are we going to see the Scroll of Town portal back? Yes, we are. Mana is back into that Warden, and that Warden is now going to perhaps get some beautiful Fan of Knives off. If he can get some Fan of Knives off, takes down 2 units there, and that Warden still has gas in the tank. Alright, it looks like the Forest Troll Berserker will get taken down. There it goes. We do see a Scroll of the Beast. The Warden now looking to back away. No more Moon Juice in those Moon Wells. That perhaps was the biggest mistake, not having enough, as the Archmage now running off to the north, perhaps hoping to pick up pick up Dust of Appearance to counteract the Cloak of, or not the Cloak of Shadows, the Hide. Alright, Clarity Potion now being used. Warden needs to get as much mana as possible. Heals back up rather quickly, going after that farm now. But what has gone down? Alright, Staff of Teleportation comes back in. Oh, there's another Moonwell. Quickly picks it up again. And wow, the Warden is just causing so many problems. Are we perhaps going to see another Fan of Knives? Are you really trying to surround a Warden who has level 2 Fan of Knives? I cannot believe that, as we now see another attack there. Clarity Potion is being used. Back over here, Goblin Shredder is going to be the main aggressor here, or the main defender, as we see the Water Elemental now trying to push all of this back. Meanwhile, the Warden is back up to about 90 mana. Should be able to start taking down some of these units here in just a moment, as the Archer now backs off. Where is that Goblin Shredder? I believe the Goblin Shredder was taken down. No, Goblin Shredder hiding off over here. The Warden is attempting to take down more units. There goes another, and still causing problems for a whole bunch of units. There goes another unit there, and going after perhaps another footman down to the south. Back over here, moonwells are getting destroyed. Off to the north, you see another moonwell being trained up here as the warden is using this nightfall to her absolute best here, as the warden now up to 83 mana. Will she get up to 90, and will another fan of knives just wreak havoc here? And I believe it will. Just stand right here. You may even get this footman down off to the south. All right, Tree of Life, this expansion, now entangling this gold mine on the bottom left. It feels like really Foggy has thought of everything here as double detonation. And now the Goblin Shredder needs to wander around here. All right, trying to fight back. The Tree of Life is engaging in some of these attacks as well. Staff of Teleportation able to get away. The Arcane Tower draining some of that mana, though, as we're looking at where did that warden go? Back off to the north there, using that Clarity Potion now, trying to get back up to 90 mana, and 90 mana may be the absolute minimum. All right, up to 90. Quickly realizes what's happening here. We're gonna see a fan of knives, takes down nothing. Oh, takes down one forest troll shadow priest. That is it. Footmen, all of these were pretty low, but none of them fell. A little bit of a lucky break for Hawk there, as Foggy is surprising with this very innovative strategy. Mass or Staff of Teleportation into the base, and then using that using that moonwell to just, and the level 2 fan of knives to destroy so many peasants, that if that warden gets to level 5, I believe level 3 Shadow Strike could be on the table, and level 3 Shadow Strike is rather difficult to deal with. All right, economic advantage belongs to Foggy. Tree of Ages up against a Town Hall, no expansion over here to the top right, and this really looks more like a strategy that a human player should have, being up on bases, but instead this is coming from the Night Elf. The big problem, though, is that we still do not see any way to spend all of that additional gold as of yet. He's been buying items, which has been fairly helpful. Can we finish off that farm? Farm looks like it just needed one more shot, but the archers knew that they needed to get into a mad run and are now heading back home. Warden picking up a potion of lesser invulnerability. That is going to be very helpful when that warden gets surrounded. It often will, as it does have fan of knives, and it wants to be in the midst of everything. All right, claws of attack +6 going to be given to an archmage. Archmage definitely likes that. +12 attack now, as Foggy in trouble, going to be losing this expansion over here on the bottom right. Overall supply 35 compared to 30. Fan of knives goes down, Shadow Strike goes down, detonation, as the footmen are just getting absolutely destroyed here. Another fan of knives could go down there, taking down more units. Warden sitting at level 5 now. And what's happening? The detonations are still going down. Are we going to perhaps see another fan of knives? There's another detonation. No more mana on many of the units. There's another fan of knives. And the warden now sitting at level 5, getting closer and closer to level 6. Mass teleporting away again, as a Tree of Life being built off over here. Plenty of gold for Foggy. He just has no real way to use it, but a level 5 warden is rather dangerous, and we haven't even begun to mention the fact that once that warden gets to level 6, we'll have that Avatar of Vengeance. That Avatar of Vengeance, so strong, especially against human players, because their natural defense is to call to arms. Call to Arms is normally a very good ability, except it generates skeletons for that Avatar of Vengeance. If that warden gets to level 5, and I do believe she will, she's going to be able to just summon units into this location here, and then absolutely destroy many of the mining that is happening back down over here. All right, we are at Tree of Ages. No second hero as of yet. That is a big surprise. A second hero could be coming in just a moment, and there you see all of a sudden Hawk picking up a Troll Shadow Priest and a Mud Golem. Could get some easy kills there. Meanwhile, what is this Warden doing? The Warden is actually looking for where that Archmage is. Warden at 400 some odd mana should be able to really make a big play here, but that Arcane Tower could be a bit of a problem. Staff of Teleportation could teleport back off to the north. The Warden is hoping that she can catch this Archmage off guard here. Now running back from the backside here, and this is going to be a bit of a surprise. All of a sudden, the Warden is actually going to show up right behind you, and there is a Shadow Strike. There's a Fan of Knives, and a Scroll of Healing to try and counteract the Fan of Knives, which is exactly perfect. But we're going to see the Warden, oh, no Dust of Appearance. There's another Shadow Strike. There's another Fan of Knives. And still that damage, that poor Forest Troll Berserker is going to try and stay alive. Is it going to stay alive? I don't believe so. Wow, it is cutting it extremely close. Oh my goodness, wow, does stay alive ever so barely. Meanwhile, Warden stays alive, ends up using the Potion of Mana, and he also has 2 Ancients of Wonder. Not quite sure why you would need 2, but really wants to pick up some additional items there, perhaps picking up a Gauntlets of Ogre Strength, Potion of Healing. Should have dropped the Gauntlets of Ogre Strength before using those Moonwells, though, as it does make you use a little bit more, since that is a fixed rate versus percentage heal. I can do a chart on that, but I'll probably do it a little bit later. Archmage now looking to clear up the bottom right side here. Level 4 now on the Archmage. The hero advantage that Foggy once had is no longer there. However, the economic advantage is now back in play. And the economic advantage has really been used to just spend a whole bunch of gold on items at the shops in order to destroy his opponent. He isn't getting a much larger army. And what's nice about this particular strategy is that unless your opponent is aware of the number of items you use, there's no clear indicator that you have an expansion. Your army isn't that much larger, so if your opponent doesn't know, well, come on, please just shoot an arrow at that. Okay, one more shot. There you go. Finally takes it down. And now we're going to be having the Warden walk into a group of units here. All right, Dryad on the run. Should be able to get away. Meanwhile, back off to the north, slow onto that Warden. Warden, however, going to heal back up in just a second as the Dryads are now getting into position here. All right, Archmage coming back over. Wisp hiding off at the north. We're looking at 43 over 60 as the Dryads have to be extremely careful. They want to get to that Water Elemental, but the Water Elemental is always in the back. All right, Slow Poison poking at some of those units just so that the damage over time factor also comes into play. That damage over time, very, very important, as you can just back off. It negates a lot of the healing, as we're also seeing Foggy and perhaps slowing down a bit of the units as well. All right, are we perhaps going to see a Shadow Strike onto that Ogre Mauler? The Ogre Mauler could take a Shadow Strike here and then be in even more trouble. Abolish Magic quickly takes that down, as the Dryads are now needing to run back again. All right, poking back and forth. And what is this? This actually reminds me of a history lesson of the British Navy against the Spanish Armada. Just a smaller, faster attack force hitting the units and then pulling back, and those units couldn't really do much, and they're pretty much trapped. This is actually exactly like the Spanish Armada, if anyone knows that history lesson, or maybe misremembering it. But now finally engaging and pushing through. Mountain King gets a Stormbolt onto the Warden. Warden now needs to pull back here. Are we perhaps going to see some Shadow Strikes? No, nothing yet. But the Warden knows that she can run away a bit faster. All right, here we go. Is the Dryads going to perhaps start poking through again? Yes, there you have it. There's a Potion of Invulnerability. Are we going to see a Fan of Knives? She is in the midst of everything. Shadow Strike, Fan of Knives, Scroll of Healing quickly used to counteract it, as the Warden now runs back the other way. Not quite sure why she's going back this way, but she still does maintain that economic advantage and is now massing up bears. Druid of the Claws almost done, and as soon as these Druids of the Claw are out on the field and at level 2, things are going to become very, very different. All right, is this going to get scouted out? That is the question, And yes, it is going to get scouted out. Nature's Blessing is being researched, and I don't believe it is going to... Well, it should be able to complete right here, right now. Nature's Blessing, come on, complete. There you have it. Are we going to start repairing? Yes, we are, as the Dryads are now pushing through. There's the bears, and that is going to be the game. The sudden onslaught of 4 bears. Anti-magic shell potion on that warden. The warden, however, does take a storm bolt. Still have a potion of lesser invulnerability. Can use this shadow strike, fan of knives, take down unit after unit, and that is going to be the game, as the bears just completely caught it off guard, and we are now at Avatar of Vengeance. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed game 2. Please stay tuned for game number 3.